Welcome to another episode. Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Melo,
Gruff Lion.
T-Buggy, man.
To the greatest sports show on the planet, La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say.
What up, man? It's your boy, host for the evening, Gruff Lion. You know what time it is. It's roughly 9:30-ish, and it's time for Gas Present Sports for the Culture. I'm the host for the evening. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the game. We got a little light roster tonight, so it's going to be a good show. We've been leading heavy with a lot of NFL, but now the NFL season's over, we're going to lead heavy into the culture, into the NBA today, with a little NFL, of course. Top right, introduce yourself.
man, you know who it is, your man Young Rome 22. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tap in the comments, man. Keep the conversation going. Let us know how you feeling out there. Let us know what you think, man. We love to hear the fan feedback.
Yeah. Feedback is always good. So yeah, I mean, y'all know the comments is always open, man. If y'all say anything y'all like, we talking about, y'all feel like to go ahead, buzz in and get interactive with this conversation, this experience. Bottom center, introduce yourself.
It's your boy D-Melo, and it's your aunties and cousins' favorite gigolo. Back at it again on a Tuesday night. Hello, fellas.
Yeah, man. You know what time it is. Same time, same place every Tuesday. All the new subscribers, if you tapping in, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. And let's get into the show, man. First of all, let's go ahead and get started with not even the most eventful thing that happened this weekend, but it does fall in the category of sports, I suppose. And that's the NBA All-Star Game. So I don't know if y'all got a chance to watch it or if y'all cared to watch it. I don't know if it was really that entertaining, to be honest. Didn't captivate me too much, even though we had dude from the Sixers win the dunk contest. And I guess that was decent. But I don't know. What are y'all thoughts, man? Is the NBA All-Star Game played out, man? Because I remember there was a time and a place where I used to really look forward to the NBA All-Star Game. But it wasn't really the case. It was more so just in the backdrop this weekend. So I don't know if that was a similar experience that y'all shared. Rome, I heard about you watching some XFL games. So I don't know. I guess there was obviously something else that you was trying to watch instead of that. And that's a pretty low bar. But hey, Rome, what do you think, man? The NBA All-Star Game played out?
Yeah, bro, I feel you because I agree with you, man. There was a time and a place where I was excited for the NBA All-Star Game the whole weekend, the 3-point contest, the dunk contest, all of it. But that's come and gone, man. It's not as exciting as it used to be. And I think part of the problem is like it's overhyped. They have so much going on surrounding it, and then it's like, what are you really getting? You know, it's like you're making a fancy meal, a fancy dish, and then it tastes like shit. Like it's terrible. What it like you're making it look good. You got rappers performing, and you got fireworks and a big spectacle and all this, and celebrities all in the arena. But then like the play is terrible. You're interviewing players while they're dribbling. I think it was Luka they were talking to, and they're like, "Yeah, man, we need you to get the ball and do something." And he's like, "I don't even want to." Like the players don't even care. So why should I care? Honestly, not even just the NBA All-Star Game, the NFL, Pro Bowl, all that. All-Star games in general are becoming more and more played out. It's at the point where I would say the baseball All-Star Game, the MLB All-Star Game is the most exciting All-Star game of the three major sports in America, man. So, yes, the NBA game, All-Star game is played out.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, compare it into the Pro Bowl. I think it's leaning more towards the Pro Bowl than it is, All-Star Game was once a coveted event. But now you make some good points there, Ron. G, did you catch the NBA All-Star Game? Are you a fan of the All-Star Game? Is it played out?
I mean, besides the dunk contest being like, there's no superstars playing the dunk contest. And the three-point contest is the only one I was looking forward to because you had actually some good players. Besides Julius Randle, what the fuck is Julius Randle playing in the three-point contest? I'm so baffled by that. I didn't understand why he was playing that. And besides the game, I was just watching an old Kobe Bryant interview where he was just like, "Yo, the All-Star game needs to get revamped. The level, the way you guys are playing." Kobe said himself, "RIP to the greatest, one of the greatest." He said it like people aren't as serious. They're not as competitive as normally they would be on one of those summer leagues or one of those Drew League games that we will watch in the summertime. If you get watch them in the summertime, like these guys need to play a little bit more competitive. This is what we want to watch. Some of the best players from each conference on center field going all out. Now you just bunch of lobs, no defense. Like the level of competitors is not there, except for that year when RP when Kobe died, where like players were entertained to like they made it competitive into like the fourth quarter. And even this year, like for me, I didn't really like it once I seen LeBron James go out. I'm like, oh man. And then you get to watch the rest of these players play. I'm like, ah. Even when Jason Tatum scored these 55 points, they were lackluster. Like normally when you hear players scoring over 35 points, like, oh shit, you got as must watch. But if you go watch it, there's a guy besides those kind of shoot off that him and Jaylen Brown had. I wasn't really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I mean, you said something that struck a chord with me. You said best of both conferences. So, I mean, it's funny because it's kind of convoluted. The All-Star games have become very convoluted in the sense that we don't even have both conferences going against each other. We have Team Giannis and LeBron, and they're mixing it up, and they're switching the quarters. The scores at every half, and then they're doing a lot, man. They're doing a lot. But yeah, sometimes less is more. I don't know. It just it didn't hit for me this year. I wasn't a big fan, actually. So, I mean, actually, the most eventful thing I think that happened to me, the most thing that caught my attention actually about the whole entire All-Star weekend wasn't actually the game at all. It was actually Karl Malone. So, not a big fan of Karl Malone, but I'm going to start with this. Karl Malone was involved in the All-Star game, and he was, one of the most, he's definitely top 5 all time in scoring. He's the most celebrated athlete, I guess you could say, not celebrated, but most accomplished athlete in Utah Jazz history, along with John Stockton, who's also kind of a weird guy in all reality. But I mean, they both were involved in the All-Star game, I guess, as they should be. But there was some backlash that came along with Karl Malone being involved in the All-Star game, considering some of the things he's done come and resurface. And if you didn't know, I think y'all both up to par with that, right? About the situation. He was like 20-year-old, 13-year-old, situation. He had a baby, didn't support the kid, nothing. No one didn't pay him child support. The kid ended up coming to the NFL too, played for my Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty good offensive lineman, not gonna lie. But anyway, is it fair to drag Karl Malone, after the All-Star game? Rome, start with you.
I mean, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, how many years ago was it exactly? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is it fair to drag people for things that happened almost a lifetime ago? I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I don't know if he needs to answer questions about it necessarily. If he wants to, he's got to live with it. So if he doesn't want to come out to the public and say something, I could understand that. But yeah, I definitely think it puts like a damper on what he wants to do as far as if he's going to be involved in certain things in the public light, because that's the world we live in, where old shit gets dug up and the spotlight gets put on it. So I mean, is it fair to drag him? Probably not. Is that the kind of thing that happens in 2023? Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, here's your statement on this situation. His words on the situation were, quote, "As players, we hear what's written about us or said about us. I'm not discussing any of that backlash. I don't care. That's my life. That's my personal life, and I'll deal with that like I've had to deal with everything. So whatever." G, what's your thoughts on Karl Malone? I was just saying that's a terrible statement.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a perfect statement.
He didn't. How did the way he's dealt with everything? Okay, so how do you deal with everything? He
that statement
where
hold on,
he's a millionaire. He's a millionaire.
Fellas.
He's a millionaire. Hold on, he's a millionaire. He's 20-year-old. And he, at least he do is try to support the kid. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that either. And then when he met up with the kid when he was 18, he said, "Look, it's too late for me to be a father to you. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own." I mean,
yeah, he would have been better off just not having a statement. You know what I mean? Like he would have been better off.
Better off not having a statement. I agree, but also the way I deal with everything, like, come on, bro. That's not a good standard, obviously. But go ahead, G. What's your thoughts on Karl Malone?
I mean, are we, man? Listen, man. I'm a good Christian man, and the Bible says
Be a Christian, man.
the first one, cast. If you without sin cast the first stone, you know everybody got the right to live the personal life. Now we're gonna criticize him as an athlete. By all means, it's
All right.
criticizing an athlete. But if we're gonna criticize his personal life, man, everybody got secrets and everybody got a dark closet. Like, who the fuck am I
Okay.
gonna judge him for? You know what I mean? And
All right. All
like,
right.
why bring it up? Why bring it up now? Like, if he didn't want to take care of the child, then what the fuck was he supposed to say? I'm sorry. The fuck was that going to do? Nothing. He clearly had the conversation with the player already.
I mean, he's not a
Like, what
player,
people
but he's
want?
not a
Like,
son. But yeah.
oh, but clearly he's not. Clearly he don't take him as a son. Then what are we saying? Like, we're gonna force him to do something. This goes back to
All
like
right.
one of my favorite episode, Will Smith episode, when his dad comes around. It just happened on me, you know. And I like to watch that episode a lot on Father's Day because it brings me some kind of joy. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was only raised by my mother, so like, you know, it's best sometimes not to know who the fuck your father was than to know who he was and him not be a part of your life. And this
I
is
agree
something
with
like,
that.
yo, and this is something like, yo, like, shit. Look, the best fuck you that anybody could give to Karl Malone are all those children that he chose not to raise and let them and watch them become successful. That's the best fuck you that all them kids could do. And Karl Malone, like he said, he gonna handle it how he's been handling it. One of those private matters to where like, yo, so well, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
I'm not
it's a
gonna sit
lose
here.
lose for Carl. It's
All
a
right. So I'm
lose
gonna
lose.
spin the
There's no.
question. I'm gonna spin the question, G. So you don't want. I get it. I get it. You don't. You're not trying to drag him. I get it. That's fair. Not. But two. I'll ask the question: is it? I don't say. Is it a bad look for the Jazz to have him out there in the first place? What do you think about
No,
that?
we're there to watch them be players. We're there to watch these guys. Now, if you want to be a fucking Debbie Down and talk about him being a dad, how many other players that we're going to be talking about? Because clearly the only best father out of any player is LeBron James. Him and LeVar Ball. The only two dads and a couple of those other players that like the ones that you could be like, oh, they're a part of their son's life. Besides that, the fuck? Let's celebrate this man for his accomplishment as a player. That's why we're there watching it because God knows everybody has a dark past or has some secrets in the closet, and none of us are gonna be happy to be like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Nah,
Yeah, I
Scruff. I
mean,
like where you're.
there's
I like
levels
where
to
you're taking
deadbeat
the
dads,
question.
though. There's levels to deadbeat's dad, though, bro. There's deadbeat dad, and then there's 13-year-old, 20-year-old. That could be charged as rape. So and
Nah,
he's lucky. You know what I'm saying? He's fortunate that wasn't because then he wouldn't have any NBA career.
I
So
like
But we're
where you're
not
taking
talking
the
about
question
rape. Why would
though.
you say rape? The fuck? What the fuck that happened?
Or
because
it's
you can't
statutory.
have you bro. I don't
Yeah.
know what part of the United States you live in, but you can't have sex with a 13-year-old if you're 20.
Wait, hold on. Why you brought a rape for though? Wait, he
That's
raped, he
Because
was
statutory
raping.
rape.
that's a chargeable offense, bro.
Yeah.
But why would you
If
bring
you're
that up with
if
Karl Malone?
because
I'm
what he
so
did is
confused.
statutory rape.
But he
Because
raped
he
this
did that.
girl.
If
He was
you're an adult and the girl's a minor, instant rape.
Oh yeah, I know that's rape. Wait, he raped this kid, this dude's mom. I'm so confused. I don't know why we were talking about Karl Malone in this aspect. Like, unless we're talking about him as a player, like I'm so confused. Like, what happened with
Nah,
Karl
but
Malone? There,
let me pull it back to the way Scruff framed the question though. So I agree with you, Scruff, because should they even have him involved is a solid question because to me that goes back to Janet Jackson not being able to be involved at the Super Bowl. How long ago did her incident with Justin Timberlake happen where they and now CBS didn't want her to be involved with the Super Bowl and all that due to what happened way back then. So is whenever someone who has an incident from the past has something that comes back up, it gets murky for an organization or a team or whatever, in that case the TV broadcast station wanting to bring them back because people are gonna talk about it. That's gonna get brought back up. So
I mean, it's a
again,
fair
it's the
analogy.
times we live in.
It's a fair analogy. What Justin Timberlake did wasn't, you know, chargeable by law as a crime.
Well, he didn't even get in any trouble. What I'm saying is Janet got slack for it, and she's not allowed to be on TV, right? She's not allowed to be at the Super Bowl. So in my opinion, Karl Malone shouldn't be allowed to make appearances for the Utah Jazz. I think that's perfectly fair to say, hey, you don't have to make statements, you don't have to stand at a press conference and answer questions, but you can't show up at this pep rally or be in these commercials or nothing like that either. So
fair enough. I'm gonna leave the man alone for now. On to the next topic. Russell Westbrook switched teams actually, and people were kind of saying my boy fell off for a minute, but actually he was resurgence this season in LA, coming off the bench, playing with the ball in his hands. Now he's signing with the Clippers. So my question is, actually, hold on, let me switch that up. But his question is, Westbrook to the Clippers, does it matter at all? Does it put them amongst the contenders or anything like that amongst the West? Do you think it'll work out? G, I'm gonna start with you.
Well, he didn't want to leave Los Angeles. That's his home. That's where he comes from. And he's playing on a team that might use him as a starter, right? Because I'm assuming that the Clippers don't have a point guard right now. They have a bunch of guards? Yeah, I think he's the only point. No, they let him go. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a point guard. He's the only point. He's going to a good situation because it's not like Ty Lue is a bad coach. We could agree here. I believe we could say here he's like a top 10 coach right now in the NBA. And with him, as long as Kawhi Leonard is healthy, like let's see how good he plays with Kawhi.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Because we do know that Westbrook did actually play pretty well with Paul George. Then you had Kawhi in there. They got a nice little formidable squad right there. I think they are a pretty decent squad. But G, do you think they have any chance to make any noise?
In the West right now, where everything is so tight, what? Yeah, I think why not? They're a good team as long as they're healthy. They can make it to the conference final.
Okay, so it sounds like you're kind of sipping the Kool-Aid there a little bit. I mean, right now they're the 4th seed in the West. West's pretty interesting actually right now because you do have obviously the Nuggets number 1 seed right now. Grizzlies the number 2 seed. The Kings the number 3 seed. The Suns are the number 5 seed, and they just picked up KD. Mavs the 6th seed, and then the rest of the teams are the play-in teams, right? So I mean, top 6 is pretty sturdy as far as I'm concerned. Matter of fact, the 7 is Pelicans, 8 is Timberwolves, 9 is Warriors. So pretty good. Ron, man, what do you thoughts on Westbrook going to the Clippers? Does it mean anything, and does it make a difference for them in the race in the West?
I think this is a big upgrade for Russell Westbrook. How much does it upgrade the Clippers? I mean, I guess time will tell. I think it could. I think you can see the obvious benefits if it does work out. I think, like y'all said, how he plays with Kawhi is ultimately gonna be the real deciding factor when with the big picture. But I mean, I think the small picture, yeah, man. I think this is a good little upgrade for him. I think it's good for him that he gets to stay in LA. But I think Westbrook's got a lot to prove, man. He's got to go win. Like I feel like a lot of the talk around him ends up just being, somehow it always gets swayed away from winning. So for me, I just want to see Westbrook go win. I hope they do make it to a conference finals at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like the move overall. I do like the move for Westbrook. I think he could easily went to like maybe a better team, so to speak. But I think he kind of went to a team where he could kind of balance and be a difference maker. So I do like that move. He did say about 2 years ago that he would never play for the Clippers. I think they asked him if he would play for the Clippers, and he said, "Fuck that," was his exact quote. But it's funny how times change. I actually do like the fit, though. I do like the fit. Him and Paul George played well together. Kawhi, I think that's the biggest thing. But all the biggest things is one thing you can say is Westbrook does actually play basketball, meaning that he is available to play in 82 games. Can Kawhi Leonard actually play in enough games to make a difference for them? I think that's the biggest question for the Clippers. But I mean, we did talk about the West, the landscape out the West. I hardly say the Clippers are a team to beat, but they're definitely somebody to consider. Right now, I'd say the team to beat is probably Denver, right? Number 1. But are there any teams out West that you feel like have a shot there to win it all out of any of those teams I named or anybody I didn't name for that matter.
Can I just say that I feel like the Grizzlies and the Kings are a bunch of pretenders. I don't think none of those guys will go. Probably those two guys could go past the first round, but that's about it.
Okay. So what teams in the West do you feel like could win a championship? Or matter of fact, either East or West?
I want to say the Nuggets and the Suns, because
the
well, at least
Suns.
from the West.
In the West, I feel like I'm kind of just hopping on the Suns because of the trade, but yeah. I mean, like, if you're being honest, bro. And then I mean,
it's
you said the East and the West. In the East, man, I kind of like the Bucks. I'll say that because T's not here, but
I'll say this. I actually think, I think anybody could win the West. Though. I think it probably come down to the Suns, the Clippers. I don't know. It could be really anybody, Nuggets or the Grizzlies, but I don't think any
is Zion playing it? Is Zion coming back anytime soon?
Nah, he got hurt.
For how long? How long he's out for?
I don't know, man. I don't know everything. Come on now.
No, but I think if Zion can come back on the Pelicans, I think that's a dark horse right there for me. The Pelicans.
Yeah.
The West is packed. I would like to see the Grizzlies, but I don't really believe in them.
I'll say
like
this,
I said, that the trade for the Suns is a big deal.
I'll say this though about the West. I don't think the West is going to win the chip this year. I don't think the West is going to win the chip this year. The way I'm looking at the West is like, all right, the Nuggets are #1 team, and I don't think they're that good, in my opinion. And the Grizzlies are a pretty good team. Someone here just called they were fool's gold. All right, I can never respect the Sacramento Kings in the NBA playoffs. The Clippers, we just talked about them as being Suns, okay, yeah, but they just picked up KD. He's brand new. So I don't really love the West, in my opinion. To me, the champion's going to come out the East. I think there are teams in the West that could win the chip theoretically. I guess maybe the Suns or the Nuggets or the Clippers, maybe the Grizzlies even. But they're not beating the Celtics. None of those teams are beating the Celtics in a series. One of those teams are going to be the Bucks series, and I'd say most of those teams will probably lose the Sixers in a series too. Although it might be an interesting series between them and the Nuggets, maybe them and the Clippers. I don't know. Or the Suns even. Like I said, maybe. But I think the East is going to win the chip this year. It seems that way. And I think those three teams are the teams in the East that can win the chip for sure. From the West, it's really hard to say any of these teams I really love. Even the Warriors were a team I really like a lot, and they were in the 9th seed. So, we'll see what happens out there, I guess.
The West is going to be fun, though. The West is going to be fun to see who does end up getting to it.
Yeah, it shall be interesting for sure. But yeah, we haven't talked NBA in a little while, so I figured we jump right into the big picture, the contenders, and just get right into it like that. But we're going to continue to tap in a little bit deeper with the NBA as the season goes on, and let's carry on, shall we? So Rome, we're going to start the next topic with you because you wrote an article about this on the website. I did drop that today on the website. Check that out on the app as well. Eric Bienemy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, decided to go to Washington and become the offensive coordinator for Washington, the assistant head coach or whatever. So my question is, one, why go from the Chiefs to Washington? I'm sure you have an answer for me, Rome, which it was in the article if you did read it. And does it make any sense for anybody involved, and why? I'm sure you're going to tell me it does. So let's go ahead and hear it. Rome, tell me about Eric Bienemy to Washington.
All right, yeah. So like you said, the big question is why would you go from the Chiefs to the Commanders, right? Why would you go from Patrick Mahomes to Sam Howell when you're a guy who probably should already have a head coaching job anyway? Well, the simplest way to put it is he's betting on himself. The long answer is, and if we can be completely blunt, we can talk about, is it fair that he's a head coach yet or not? We can talk about that, or we can just be blunt and say we see what's going on. and he's not going to get what is fair or what is due to him. He's going to have to jump through the hoop. And one of the hoops that he's jumping through is being the offensive coordinator slash assistant head coach for the Commanders. So is it a lateral move? I would say no. It's a slight upgrade. You get a new title, you get a bigger salary. So it's not exactly what he was looking for. But in the world we live in, when you're a person of color, and you even when you have the resume, sometimes you got to do a little extra. And fair or not, that is currently what Eric Bienemy has to do. And I think he should be respected for it. I think he's saying, look, you guys say I'm under Andy Reid's shadow. You guys say it's Patrick Mahomes being one of the greatest of all time. And maybe it is those things. So I'm going to go to the Commanders. I'm going to get full control over the offense. And I'm going to start with a fifth round QB who's played one game. Once started one game. So we'll see what Eric Bienemy can do. I think it actually puts a lot of pressure on him. I think Washington has to be a top 15 offense next year, or he might have a little egg on his face.
Would he have egg on his face though? Really? Because I mean, who is Sam Howell? And all right, first of all, Rome, do you feel like they're gonna really be starting with Sam Howell? You think that he's left the Chiefs to go be starting quarterback Sam Howell to rest his resume on? Does that seem like it makes sense to you?
Potentially, yes, because Washington is not in a position to chase, and I know we're going to get on the QB carousel in a minute, but to chase one of these QBs that could potentially be on the open market. And that's in large part because we just took a big swing and a big miss with Carson Wentz. So, I mean, they can only have themselves to blame for it, to be honest.
What about drafting somebody in the first round? You don't consider that he might want to bring in a player that's going to be a fit for his system?
That's always a potential. But again, Washington's picking 16th pick. QBs, a lot of the good QBs go top 10. So would they be willing to trade with someone? Slim pickings there too. So
one guy that comes to mind, his name is Anthony Richardson. I just want to put his name out there. If it ends up happening, we can run the tape on it. But Anthony Richardson, a guy I think that wasn't probably projected to go in the first round, but he's soaring up the draft board.
From Florida?
People are saying he's saying he's not going to make it out of the top 15. So we'll see. He's a very dynamic quarterback. He's had his fair share of issues, I guess you can say, but I think he's a very dynamic quarterback. I think he might just be a guy that, hey, like Patrick Mahomes was kind of like unorthodox in some aspects coming out, and maybe he could be that kind of guy for them.
I hear you. There's a long way to go to the draft, and I feel you. A lot could change from now till then, and maybe Eric Bienemy does fall in love with a QB coming out. But I do think he took the job in large part knowing that he's going to have to work with Sam Howell.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, hell no. I got a question. Is he really betting on himself if he's not the head coach? How are you betting on yourself when you got to work under John? What? I think this is the dumbest shit. I get it. No one wants to be underneath another coach shadow, but you're going to John Rivera's shadow. Like, that's better. Like, how are you betting yourself? Unless this is John Rivera's last year, and y'all just, instead of firing him, y'all just going to just be like, yo, Eric Bienemy, this is your job next year. So it's really like, he ain't even betting on himself.
Ron did speak on it and say, he thinks it's unfair and all that Bienemy hasn't gotten a fair shot. And Ron is the kind of guy who, knowing that this might be his last year with new ownership coming in, he's the kind of guy who would give Bienemy, this type of position, knowing that he could potentially be that guy if Ron does indeed, get fired or let go or whatever. Ron might even step down and allow Eric Bienemy to become the next guy if things don't go great. So I can see both those scenarios happening. But again, it wasn't going to happen for Bienemy, bro. He's had 17 interviews. 17 teams have passed on this man as a head coach. So, like, what was he supposed to do? I know it would have been a fine option, I guess, just to stay put.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe some people aren't meant to be head coaches. Like look at the guy from over there from the Raiders.
I hear you, and I would say look at Matt Nagy and look at Nathaniel Hackett and all these white coaches that have failed. Why doesn't Eric Bienemy deserve the chance to fail?
Yeah,
I'm saying, why not just wait until until
It's a
Andy
long
Reid just
time. He's
retires.
not going
And
to be
so
doing that
what?
anytime soon. He's not going to be doing that anytime
But
soon.
you have Patrick Mahomes. I don't know why you want to. Why not coach Patrick Mahomes? It's like it's baffling to me. Like you're about to go to
Why
go.
did Brian Daboll go from Josh Allen to Daniel Jones?
Even now, I don't know why he did that shit. I would. Well, then
Well, he
again,
was head
Josh
coach.
Allen. Josh Allen ain't fucking Patrick Mahomes. That's the thing. Cause Josh Allen ain't motherfucking Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Dable leaves if he was coaching Patrick Mahomes. I think he still stays put if he had Patrick Mahomes. I don't know why anybody wants to leave Patrick Mahomes.
I don't know. I think it does make sense from one standpoint that if Rivera gets fired, he's next up, right?
He has to be. It's no. That's the only way I think this happening this year. I think you guys are gonna have another bad season, and then Rivera's out, and Eric Bienemy is the next head coach. This this makes sense because if John Rivera has a great year, then why would you even give Eric Bienemy the head coach shot for next year, the year afterwards? It's like why would you move
No,
on from Riverboat Rivera if you have a great year next year?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions
It
that need to
makes
be
no.
answered as
That's what
far as
this move makes no sense to me. Like, why would you leave? Why would you leave one of the greatest quarterbacks of this new era for Washington?
So
I
if
think the
the
answer is
offense
quick.
is
It's job advancement and money.
if the offense is top 5 and Eric Bieniemy is in complete control of it, and Sam Howell looks like a top 10 QB next year after getting drafted in the 5th round, you
Bruh,
don't think someone's gonna pay Eric Bieniemy top money to be their head coach? They're
I
gonna be
mean,
like, look what he
I think that
did with a
the
fifth
fact that
round
you think
QB.
you're at quarterback, he's not starting next year. It's still going to be Carson Wentz, the starter next year. I
he's not coming back.
guarantee you
See,
that.
Carson will be gone in a couple weeks. I think they have to cut him by like the 12th to save $30 million. He'll be gone sometime in March.
And
We'll see.
yeah, Eric Bieniemy needs a drug test because there's no way in hell you take the job for those bum ass quarterbacks. I'm sorry, not to disrespect the man, but like, yo, my man needs a drug test because I don't leave
Brian
Patrick
Daboll,
Mahomes
where's
for.
Brian Daboll's drug test? He just took a job with fucking Daniel Jones, and look what he did with it.
And
That's
Daniel
what
Jones
Eric
wasn't that
Bieniemy is trying to
bad.
do.
Daniel Jones,
Rome. That was a head coaching job, Rome.
that was exactly a head coaching job.
And
This is
I'm not an owner. I would have given Eric Bieniemy a head coaching job. You got to go talk to the 17 people that passed on him. Because
That's
I
what I'm
agree, he
saying.
should have already been in that position. I don't disagree that this is ridiculous that he's even having to accept this job, but this is where we're at. That's the reality.
Oh, no, I still it's mind boggling to me because you're leaving Patrick Mahomes. Fuck the fact that you're gonna be under Andy Reid's shadow. That's fine, whatever. But it's Patrick Mahomes you're leaving.
Yeah, I don't got nothing else to say about
Yeah.
it, to be honest. Because I
That,
don't
that's
think there's
that's
this
that's my
conversation
thing. I
going anywhere.
get the whole you're not trying to be underneath another coach's shadow, but regardless of that, you're always gonna be under Andy Reid's shadow because you're coming off his coaching branch.
I mean, I do think it'll be interesting to see if they stick with Sam. I think it'll be interesting to see if that was just lip service or if, in a month or two, they're like, oh, well, Derek Carr's
We're gonna
open.
take that
Nobody signed Derek Carr yet. Like, so we'll see.
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they would. I think they're gonna stick with what they've been doing for years, which is bring somebody else in, random, mid-budget guy,
And Derek
whatever.
Carr it is. Can we put money on that? Derek Carr for the Commanders?
Was that? I think I actually predicted someone else going there. I can't remember who it was now. It was like who's the other dude that was basically on the he was basically he's one job away from oh yeah, Matt Ryan.
Oh, Matt Ryan.
Matt
Yeah, y'all
Ryan,
get Matt
Washington.
Ryan. Oh my God. Y'all looking like the Colts.
Matt Ryan in Washington. Book it. But anyway, we're projecting a little bit, right? The quarterback carousel has begun to spin. Actually, the carousel is actually just spinning. Some people have sat on the carousel. Some people are just kind of thinking about jumping on. And either way, we're projecting a little bit, right? Rome thinks Carson Wentz is going to be on the carousel soon. Will he land in the starting spot, or he's going to land in the backup spot? We'll see. We're not going to talk about bums. We're looking at the top guys in the market, The Ravens still have, Aaron Rodgers is looking to be on the market apparently. He might get traded. Derek Carr is out there, clearly on the market. He's already on the carousel spinning around. He ain't get picked up yet, but he's on the carousel. Lamar Jackson hasn't signed his deal yet. Ravens have until what? Beginning of the next month, I think. So we'll see what happens with that, if they're going to franchise tag him or not. So my question for y'all is, out of all these quarterbacks that are potentially going to be on the market this offseason, who's the biggest get on the market? If you were starting a team, which quarterback would you go with? Or whatever, however you want to answer the question. Who's the biggest get on the market? Rome, we'll start with you.
I mean, right now, I would say the biggest get has to be Derek Carr, because if you're the Ravens or the Packers and you let either one of these other QBs hit the market, you're crazy. If you're the Ravens and you let Lamar hit the market, you're somebody's got to go. You gotta tag Lamar. Otherwise, he resets the whole thing if he becomes a free agent.
But did y'all hear about the guarantee that the Ravens gave Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, they lowballed him.
They lowballed the
money. Fuck out of $130 million guaranteed. That is lowball and a half.
Yeah,
that's I don't know.
I don't think Lamar is gonna budge too. Like, everybody told him to play wide receiver, he stuck it out with quarterback. I think he's gonna wait for his money. But I think Derek Carr, man, I think he'd be the biggest get for sure, because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going nowhere either. Y'all think Aaron Rodgers is going somewhere, or you think that's just all?
Yeah, I think he's going somewhere.
He's going to his dark place or some shit. Isn't he going on some little dark shroom retreat?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go with that and do that again and get the same outcome again. I think he's done. I think he's going to go somewhere else. I think he's going to go to the Jets, to be honest.
No, he can't be like Brett Favre.
Bro, G, if you come on here and say the same thing again this week,
because y'all keep on saying the Jets, like the Jets. He's not gonna go to the Jets, man. Ain't no way in hell you going to the Jets for what? Because this is literally what everybody's gonna bring up. You looking like Brett Favre. You could go to the Raiders. Why not go to the Raiders?
All right, fine. Jets, Raiders. We already put a bet on this, joints. Anyway, we already know where we stand on this.
Exactly.
Who's the biggest get? Who's the biggest get on the market at quarterback this offseason? Is it Aaron Rodgers?
No, I want to see Derek Carr, because at least you're not going to get hit over the head with a salary cap, and the contract you can negotiate it to where like he's probably won't get more than $30 million a year.
So y'all are basically considering, y'all not considering that Lamar Jackson's on the market.
If Lamar is on the market,
because there's a franchise tag over his head. There's literally a franchise tag over his head. It's not like anybody could go and get that. Lamar Jackson really is something like he's not going to be moved. If you're in an organization, how many first-round picks are going to give up for Lamar Jackson?
As many as needed.
No, let's be realistic. How many first rounds are you going to have to give up for him?
Maybe at least 2 or 3. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Maybe
it's 2 or 3. You're lowballing. Now you're lowballing.
Yeah. Well, what they going to do if they can't sign him?
Exactly my point. And it's going to franchise tag him. It's a franchise tag. Boom. You're going nowhere anyways.
Also, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that you said Derek Carr, right?
Yeah.
Right, G?
He's the only free agent out of all these quarterbacks.
Okay. But if I recall correctly, Daniel Jones is a free agent. And if I also recall correctly, when we were at the bar watching the Giants game, you said that Daniel Jones was better than Derek Carr. Oh, yeah. I got you.
But the Giants are going to sign him. The Giants are going to sign him. The Giants are signing him, so he's not going nowhere.
Daniel Jones said he wants more money.
He's an independent free agent. He demanded $45 million. So
yeah, you want to talk about lowballing?
They're about to slap him with a franchise tag too. His stupid ass. If you don't get his shit together.
Let me ask you this:
if I was the Giants and this man asked me for $45 million, you know what I would do? I'd go call Baltimore.
And I hope they do.
Here's Daniel Jones and our picks for the next couple of years, because we can't hit on him anyway. So.
And I hope they do. I hope they call. I hope we get Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, a nice blue jersey. Ooh.
So
Yeah, I
G,
don't even want to wish that
you
upon him.
tagging Daniel Jones and signing Saquon?
Yeah, hell yeah.
You giving big money to Saquon despite his injury history?
Remember, you're not gonna give Saquon big money. Saquon already said he'll take anything from 17. The lowest he'll take is 17. That's not bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna pan out for y'all. I don't,
There's 17 games in the season. He's probably good for about 10 of them.
you know my motto on
Yeah,
paying
that's
running
fine with
backs
me.
after a certain
That's
time.
10 strong games for me, my boy. At least my boy ain't getting shot.
Yo,
Spicy. we New Yorkers in New Jersey and don't shoot our players. He'd be fine.
Right, they shoot themselves. Right, G.
Nah,
yo.
that's in the past. That's in the past. That's in the past.
I got all the receipts, bro. I got all the
Hey,
receipts. Bro.
I'm rather shot myself than let a fan come up, run up on me and shoot me. And what he took his car?
He wasn't a fan, bro. He was obviously trying to hit a lick, bro.
Yeah.
Even worse, your surrounding area. Oh my
Definitely not
God,
a
I'm gonna get
fan, bro.
robbed. I'm gonna get robbed in Washington. I'm straight.
And you get robbed out in New York too. Daniel Jones just, you know, what I mean, he ain't even hanging
Hey,
out.
listen, like I said, we don't rob our players. That's all I said. Listen,
Daniel
Papi,
Jones
we
is
don't.
not outside.
Yeah, that's good. He don't need to be outside. He stay his ass inside.
Yeah, man. All right, so I'll go ahead and answer this question. I mean, I think the biggest get on the market. I mean, I consider Lamar Jackson to be on the market. I consider Daniel Jones to be on the market. I consider Aaron Rodgers to be on the market. If the theoretically idea of them being on the market is on the market, I'm good with it. I don't need it to be black and white. To me, sometimes the best things aren't on the market at all. But if you have to know they're about to be on the market, then you can get it before it goes on the market. That's really how it goes. It's like the
Scrub
sneakers
I
thing.
heard talking like he be stealing niggas' girls and shit. I don't need
Right.
it to be official. If it's everyone's on the market, if I see it that way.
She replied. She opened my DMs. I could super up. I could get her out. I'm like, all right.
The best always jump from one to the next. Usually, like think about. Remember when Kawhi Leonard when he traded, and then like Paul George wasn't even on the market. All of a sudden, Paul George got traded too. Like what the fuck? Like stuff goes on behind closed doors. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I'd say the biggest get on the market is Lamar Jackson, followed by Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr is high level mid. So no, that's not my answer. Daniel Jones shouldn't even deserve $4.5 million, let alone $45 million. So
Yeah, he's gonna get that 45 though. He might end up in gangrene.
He might get 40. He might get 40.
I'm predicting this too. Also said this. I don't know if I said
He
this on
might
the
get the
show.
Kirk Cousins special.
So Daniel Jones going to end up maybe rocking out in New York for like the next 3 years. He'll get his deal. After a couple years, he'll play it out, and then they're gonna go draft Arch Manning, and out of the University of Texas, and then he's gonna be the heir apparent. They're gonna keep the Cutcliffe line alive. They're gonna go from one Cutcliffe protege to the next. They're gonna bring in the next Manning. And it doesn't matter what pick they have because you know how the Mannings go. When they want to go somewhere, they just go somewhere.
The original football family.
That's my prediction. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, Arch Manning to the Giants in 3 years.
You think he's coming? Nah, I see Archie Manning. He'll play all 4 years of college.
I mean, that's the reason they drafted Daniel Jones is because he's like a little fake me out Eli.
Yeah, basically. Right?
Still pick me out, Eli.
He is basically like an Eli. He got wheels on him. I'll give Daniel Jones that. He does have wheels on him.
Whenever I think of Daniel Jones running the ball, I think of him falling flat on his face.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
There was a 75-yarder, and then boop. He said,
my boy ran out of gas.
"Timber me timbers, wee bow."
Interesting. I don't know who this guy is, but he wants to offer us promos. But jerky wounding sounds like very much problematic to me, so I think we'll decline. Thanks for checking in with us, though. All right, sounds like a good show, right? We're getting offers from them. That sounds like an injury, like a Pornhub injury, jerky wounding. I don't like that.
Hey yo.
All
He
right,
got
man.
midget porn.
Anybody else
Look at
to
this
add,
episode
man?
midget porn ad.
All right.
What
Sounds like
happened?
we think we got everything covered, right? I think we hit everything on the list. If you're tuning in for the first time, hit that subscribe button. If you have some spare dollars, hit that gasmerchstore.com. Springtime's coming out. You feel me? It's starting to get warm out here. I don't know what's going on. So actually get yourself something like a hoodie, because like it might be warm in the one day and then it might be cold the next. That's how it's been lately. But definitely jump on that gasmerchstore.com. Hit that Patreon for that 99-cent subscription. And stay tuned, man. Rome, you got any TMZ appearances lined up? What's going on?
Nah. Nothing as of yet, but definitely check out the clip. Me and T had a little TMZ, but we gassed to the end. So, support the gang and check us out, man. Getting a lot of opportunities out here.
Boys out here eating caviar and shit.
Someone sounds a little jealous.
I'm not. No, T knows very, very well that when he was invited out to the gas event, T had more lamb chops than I've ever seen a man eat lamb chops in one sitting. T know what I'm talking about, bro. T know what I'm talking about. That man had more lamb chops than humanly I thought were possible. Like
is lamb chops even good?
Hell yeah, bro. You never had lamb chops?
Never.
Here we go.
You bugging. You eating all that pig and shit, but you don't have no lamb chops?
Pig, paneer.
All right, yeah. Go to a good restaurant and get some lamb chops, bro. Matter of fact. Or, if you're lucky, I'm saying, I made some good lamb chops. I made some recently. Anyway, get out. Cookbook coming soon. Stop playing with me.
Man, the rib that I had the other day, bro, that shit was fucking...
That shit, you know what I mean? I was dropping some good eats in there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna have to check out some of these DC restaurants. You feel me soon?
Yeah, I'll tell you the spot when we get off the air. No free promo.
Yeah, no bullshit. All right, man, fellas, it's been a good show. You know how we do this thing. You know how we end every show. Sports for the culture.
Deporte para la cultura.